me turn my talk. Here we go. How he said he living life as a gringo. Where you question where you fit in every time you mingle. They say you do this with not enough that. My rapping is really bad. This life as a gringo.
Yes, hello and welcome to el final episodio de Life as a Gringo. Me siento... No sabe cómo me siento porque tiene mucho emocionadas y I can't do the whole episode in Spanish. I promised Brenda I was going to do this last episode in Spanish. I'm practicing a bit though. That wasn't terrible. I don't know why also I'm in a room by myself and I still got nervous about speaking Spanish out loud. But we're here. Final episode of Life as a Gringo. I did originally intend to just do a full Spanish episode as like the last one. But also as I think about it, I feel like I'm not going to be as present and as in the moment and be able to really express what I'm feeling as we end this show. If I'm doing it in another language that I'm not comfortable speaking and I have to kind of overthink it. So I gave you, a little tease of what that would sound like. But we're here, guys. This is it. Yeah, I was kind of like, I'm not going to lie, I was procrastinating on even recording it. But as I was kind of like, getting ready and like walking into the studio and doing a couple little things around the studio, I was going through some wide range of emotions here, and I'll kind of, I guess I'll just freely talk about it, for mi gente segment. Also we'll bring back the Ask a Gringo segment one last time, answer a few questions that you guys had or comments, whatever, concerns, whatever you want to call it. We're here, man. Let's just get into mi gente segment. Mi gente. I will say it is strange, knowing this is the last time, and keep this into in the video because I think my studio is in dire need of like some TLC. And if you're not watching the video version of this, it's just me like fucking with my mic right now because it's all over the place, and I can't get into the right position that I want it to be in. And it's I think my studio is like, dude, it's time. We're ready for a refresh of what we've been doing. And yeah, I guess it's funny because you have these pivotal moments in your life, and these moments that like you're ready to kind of do the next thing, right? And I think this is also why people backpedal, like, or go back on like, oh, I'm leaving this person, I'm leaving this job, and then like they get sentimental, they get nervous about thinking about everything and all that it takes to restart again almost, right? And you can kind of second guess yourself a bit. I can't say that I'm second guessing the idea, as I'm still fucking with my microphone here, the idea of closing this chapter. I think it's the right thing. I think I've said everything I wanted to say on this particular platform. And I just want to start, I guess, this was an idea that was fresh in my head. And one thing I'll say, I'm really grateful. One thing about growth, I will say, over these last few years, as I've transitioned to different chapters, probably the last big chapter was leaving the Breakfast Club. And then also leaving, not as much, but being on air in New York on the Z100, which I still DJ for, but being actually like a radio personality, leaving that. I wasn't as present to just like taking it all in, right? And even if I felt like I had outgrown those roles and they weren't aligned with where I saw my life and where I wanted it to go and where I wanted it to be, I think that, sort of looking forward made me take it for granted a bit and not like really just savor the moment, I savor it. Like I really do understand the magnitude of it, It's not lost on me anymore. I think, and it's so funny because I'm talking about being present, and I'm like sending a text message, ironically, to one of the producers over at Cultura, for something that potentially involves the next phase or the next thing, right? It's ironic that I'm getting it as I record this last episode, but it's great to sort of have gotten to a place where I'm like excited for the next step, but I'm not ungrateful or taking for granted all that I just did. And man, I feel myself like getting a bit emotional with that statement. But like I was, setting up, and like I have 2 sets here in my studio, and one of them is on wheels, so I have to wheel it out of the way to open up the Life as a Gringo set. And I was just saying to myself, like, this is the last time you're going to be wheeling out this set, and behind it will be the Life as a Gringo set, because I'm going to have to take this down and get ready for other things. But, I was like present to that, right? And that felt really special and really amazing. And I'm grateful, and like that again, I'm saying that to myself, like how this journey has allowed me to have that growth that allows me to live with a bit more intention and not take for granted things, right? And even I don't know, a year ago, if I would have had the same level of like awareness and presence to the moment, I definitely didn't have it with the Breakfast Club. I definitely didn't have it with Z100. I kind of was like so in my own mind over it that like it took a few months for me to realize like, oh shit, I didn't like process the mourning process that comes along with leaving something, even if you're ready, but leaving something that was such a big part of your life, And it's probably safe to say Life as a Gringo probably, I mean, without a doubt, top 5 moments of my entire life. I'm hesitant to rank it ahead of certain things just because those things had to happen in order for me to get here. But, in terms of like one thing really just immediately changing my life, it was getting this podcast, And what I wanted to say, what I had in my head as I was like reflecting on all this is like bigger than just me. I want everybody to realize like this was a win for the underdogs, Like the way all this happened and the fact that this show even got made, like, again, like I mentioned this in the other episode, like I didn't think, A, I was shocked that I got a contract, but B, I thought it'd be done after 1 season. And here we are. We got renewed for every single option that the contract had, right? 3 seasons was like the max deal, right? I never in a million years thought we'd do that. It's really insane, And I'm a testament to, I think, just the hustle and the grind and fighting for what you want. And even with this show, like I didn't create a show that was based off of some trendy idea. And I had opportunities to be a part of salacious shows that had a lot of viewership when I left the Breakfast Club. I had a chance to be a part of very superficial platforms. And I chose to do this show that, as much as I think there's a lot of us out here, was very much so a niche concept, but I thought it was an important one, and it was an honest one, and it was one that I related to and had my whole heart into, And it's a win for the little guys, man. Like it's a win for honesty. It's a win for not following the trends, for being yourself, for making something of substance, in a world that rewards so much superficial bullshit. We successfully, for almost 4 years, had a community and supported together, you and I collectively, you listening are a part of this, supported a a vision and a program that was trying to put some good into this world, was trying to connect people, was trying to make people feel seen. And I'm proud of that. I think, like, when I leave this earth one day, hopefully in a very long time, I'm going to be proud to, like, for anybody who's interested, or my future children or my niece and nephew and whomever, that they can, like, go back and hear this. And it's something I'm proud of, that I want them to hear. It's something that I feel like I left, as small as it might be, I left some sort of mark, or at the very least, I put something positive out here into the world, right? I contribute to the world in a positive way, in some way, shape, or form. And I'm really proud of that, I really, really am. And it's weird, all the connections and everything I made. Like, it's the people I met, and, like, selfishly, those interviews, like, some of them, man, like, I was talking to people, and I'm the host of the show, and all these things, but, like, some of the people we had on here, like, it was therapeutic, it was things I needed to hear in that moment, it was reaffirming that I'm not alone, in what I'm feeling and what I'm going through. And it's just special, it's very special. And it's just funny because I can remember where I was when the contract came in. I was in a hotel in New York. It was we were having a big snowstorm here in the city. And I was with the Breakfast Club at the time, obviously. And whenever we would have a giant snowstorm, they would book, like, the essential crew for the different radio stations. They would book us hotels that were, walking distance from the radio station, to make sure we were able to get in, that next morning and do our jobs and next day. And we were in the midst of one of those, like, really bad blizzards or whatever. And I think I'd woken up from, like, a nap after leaving the Breakfast Club the morning prior, and in the hotel room, and I got the contract, and it was like it was the first moment where, I don't know, because I think I'm trying to, like, analyze where it is in my life, and, like, how to properly place it, and where to give it credit, because I think obviously getting into radio was the first foot in the door, but it was like, you're the lowest possible person on the totem pole there, right? And not even complaining, it's a blessing. But and then the next big moment was, like, becoming the resident DJ for the flagship station for iHeart here in New York, Z100, and that opened so many doors for me as a DJ. But I still was, like, living with my parents and doing, like, I wasn't, like, able to survive off of that alone. And then getting with the Breakfast Club was obviously a really big deal, but that still just felt like a stepping stone. And Life as a Gringo was, like, the first time where it was like, I've arrived. Right? And regardless, because there was a part of me that was like, oh, it's just a podcast. And, like, I would listen to the naysayers, like, who's even going to listen to this podcast from Dramos, And, like, oh, cool, he got his own podcast. Everybody has a podcast, right? But it was like, dude, the biggest audio company in the world just bet, for me, a lot of money on an energy, on me as a personality, like, just me. It's on my shoulders now. I'm not anybody's sidekick. I'm the end all be all with it, basically. And not only that, I'm taking a stance and an angle that I'm now putting on for a part of our community as a whole, but specifically a sector of our community that feels unheard. And I have to wear that cape, And, I have to say, like, I really did. I wore that with honor, like I'm honored in whatever way, in whatever capacity I've made anybody here feel seen or whatever it might be. Like, I'm honored that I got to be a part of that in some way, shape, or form. Whatever, if I just injected a little idea into your head, I'm honored that I got to participate, you know. Yeah, and it's just, I don't know, I keep saying it's fucking crazy, but I don't know, I didn't really have like an intention, I guess, in this last episode. I just sort of like, similar to the last one, I guess it's like part 2 or whatever it is, but like, I don't know, man. I think again, as I reflect, I think really like, I think about life as a gringo, and it's like the little engine that could type of shit, right? Like it's how the fuck did we get here? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't feel real. And like, there's the part of me that imposter syndrome, and there's the part of me that compares myself to, you know, my peers who have been doing this for way longer and, you know, are on bigger platforms, and I'm like, oh, I'm nowhere near them. But this is special. For almost 4 years, like, I've been able to just live out my dream, and I've been able to wake up every day and just fucking, you know, this is my life. I talk on a microphone. It's crazy. Like, it's fucking nuts. And again, like, I'm not saying that to aggrandize myself. I'm saying that to be like, dude, like, this shit is possible. As far as like whatever your dream is, this is possible for anybody, right? As long as you're really aligned with what you love to do and what you think you're talented at, it's possible. I don't just mean podcast, I mean anything. Now, it might take longer, it might take X amount of work, and you might take X amount of sacrifice, and that's up to you if you're willing to do that. But if you are willing to sacrifice everything for it, then it is possible. And you know, this podcast, I've joked that it's like my diary and all these things, and like, truth be told, it is, right? It's something that I not only do as a career, but like, I think I probably needed. I might have needed this more than you listening, you know, to have this outlet every single week to talk and to meet people and to just have conversations and express myself. Like, I'm forever grateful for that, you know. I don't know, man. I like, I'm trying to just sort of like interpret whatever feeling, emotions are coming over me, whatever's coming from my brain, and say it into this microphone, you know. But I think the biggest thing is I just want to say thank you. Like, everybody that's been involved in this process, you know. And, you know, from the Cultura network and Giselle and Jasmine over there, and Claudia, who was originally one of the producers here, and Pablo, who took over, and, you know, just everybody I've met along the way, dude. It's just been like, it's been a wild journey. And I don't know, I think it's really funny. There's a couple things that come across. I was thinking about this earlier today too, and I apologize if I'm scattered with my thoughts a bit, but I started my first podcast. It had to have been 2009, 2010, right? Which you gotta think, we launched in 2021. So you're talking about 11 years later, I got my first paying podcast, right? But we were recording a podcast, me and my buddy Aaron, in my parents' basement, and we couldn't even get it on like Apple Podcasts or anything at the time. It was hard. It was just on SoundCloud, and we did like 3 episodes, and that was it. But I think back to that kid, and I'm like, man, never in a million years would he have thought, fucking 11 years later, he would be able to make a living doing that, right? And that's making me emotional thinking about it, right? Because again, that's a kid broke in his parents' basement, man. But that was the kid that like, I really have to give credit to, because he took risks. I quit my first full-time job around that time. I was full-time at Guitar Center, and they literally were offering me a managerial job, but I quit right when they offered me a job. And I was like, fuck this. I was surviving at the time off of DJing private parties on the weekends. Now, luckily, I lived with my parents, so I had, room and board and meals and everything. But that kid took a big risk, right? And it led to here. Like, that it really is the precipice for why I'm sitting here, is that kid. And it's really crazy, And then I think back to the kid, the kid who in 2021 launched this podcast, man, and everything that led up to it, right? That was a kid who was like, finally for the first time in his life, really beginning to get clear on his own identity. Like, really starting to dial it in. And it's really funny, like, the thing with life as a gringo, it's like God placed this in my life not only to get me out of a situation that I felt like I had outgrown, but this podcast and the journey that it took me on really helped me find myself. And that's like monumental, right? Like, think about how incredible that is, right? And that's a blessing in itself. Like, not only is it like this dream job, dream opportunity, but like on a personal level, it made you into somebody else that you are now so proud to be, and far more fulfilled and far more aligned, And listen, there's been ups and downs throughout this entire process, but like, when I really reflect on it, it's this chapter is going to be like one of those things I look back on and it's like, yeah, like the man in front of you, that time doing what was just, a podcast, like it helped mold this person, right? And I'm proud of who I am today. I really am. And without this podcast, like, I think about who I would have been, the path I was going down, and it would have been just so, the trajectory of my life would have been so different. And that's just, it's like, I can't wrap my brain around that entirely. But I think that's what, like, if within that thought, if I was like talking to somebody, which I am talking to you, like a takeaway from that, cut out even just the money part about it, like the fact that I was able to make a living. I mean, that's important, but it's not the most important, right? This journey was necessary because it helped me find myself. And that's so much of what I push on anybody who has ideas and goals and dreams. You can't focus on the monetary aspect of it. If it happens, great. But there's still value to be found, even if it is just a quote-unquote hobby, or even while you're still in the building phase. Like, the journey you go on as a result of exploring your ideas and your creativity in time will transform you into so much better of a person, just by proxy of surrounding yourself with something you love and you enjoy doing and that challenges you. And really, that's what life as a gringo has been, like, bigger than anything, right? And it's crazy to kind of see the growth, and I'm just, I feel really grateful in this moment, man. I really do. It's like, I don't know how this happened, as much as I do, I don't know how this happened. How did I get the opportunity to do this, For almost 4 years. I got to do this. I got to host this show. I got to bring my concept to life, man. Yeah, it's I don't know, it's wild. And I'm proud of it. I'm proud of what we did. I really, really am. I'm really proud of what we did here. There's something special about this, and I feel like I can say, like, if somebody was like, right now, all the things you've done, what's the one thing you would point them to that showcases who you are and the lasting impact you'd like to have on this world? And I would be like, just listen to Life as a Gringo. Like, that's me. That's my soul in audio form. And it's the various transitionary versions and phases of me over the last 4 years. But it's a man that I'm extremely proud to be, and a platform that I'm extremely proud to have created. And yeah, I don't know. I feel a lot of gratitude right now, and I'm really grateful for. I'm grateful for the presence of mind to feel that gratitude, right? Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. We'll take a break here, and then we'll do some Ask a Gringo, and then we'll be right back.
Ask a Gringo.
I have a question. All right, so admittedly, I haven't done an Ask a Gringo in God knows how long. I'm actually a bit ashamed of that. If I have one regret, it's that season 3. I feel like I stopped doing Ask a Gringo, which I loved that part of the show as well. I'll be real with you guys. I think part of what I'm also like, I don't want to say a lack of emotion, but there's a part of me, there is a part of me that I guess has processed a lot of this as well already. Because I was really feeling a lot of burnout over this last year. And I think just preemptively knowing this was the end, right? And sort of navigating that emotionally, but personally, career-wise, and like, hey, what the fuck am I going to do after this, right? And I know this is about you. I'll get to it in a second. I promise it's not just about me. I'm going to make my way back to Ask a Gringo. But I think as I expressed, kind of in the Mi Gente segment, like, this isn't just a podcast. It's not just a job. Like, there's so much of my identity tied to this, right? Like, these episodes are my honest, like, my heart, my vulnerability, my human being, my soul bared out in audio form for the most part, Obviously, some episodes more than others, but, like, this has been such a big part of me and something I can lean on that I'm, like, so incredibly proud of in so many ways, from, the connection that's built with people, the message, and also being the underdog and figuring out a way to, like, live out my dream. But I'm just proud of this on so many levels. And it's like, part of me is almost like, who am I without it, to a degree, right? And, obviously I think I'm at a place in life where I feel really comfortable with myself, but there still is something to be said about, this being such a huge part of my life. And again, a lot of my identity being tied to it, as I know that's unhealthy, but it's inevitable when you have something so personal that you've created. So, for me, over this last year, like, social media has felt exhausting. I was, I'm trying not to be on a tangent here, but fuck, it's my last episode, right? I had seen something on, like, TikTok, and I don't know if it was talking about Aquariuses or whatever it was, but, like, just something I related to about certain personality types. And they were talking about how when they're overwhelmed, when they're going through it, they have to kind of, like, disconnect and be alone to ground themselves and to kind of get back down to baseline. And it's not a sort of commentary on not having, not a commentary on the people around them, or Not wanting to share time with the people around them or whatever it might be. It's more so that's how they can process the overwhelming emotions. And I think for this last year, I was just incredibly overwhelmed around the idea of what's next. And I would hate that. People would always be asking, what's next? What's next? And I just hated that. And it would just felt like this heavy burden. And I haven't been super social over the last year up until recently. I've been horrendous at texting people. It's not just you if you have been texting me. I've been terrible at being interactive with people on social media, and those who are more than just, listeners of the show, but you guys are my community. And I used to pride myself on being available all the time in the DMs and things like that. And for me, navigating what the fuck is next was so much of a burden. I had to kind of just disconnect from everything else, and social media was a part of that. And I think the Ask A Gringo segment, because I used to do their outreach on Instagram and stuff, my mind was just oh, that feels too heavy right now to even just be in the mindset to preemptively go on social media and get all the, I don't know. And as silly as that sounds, it's obviously it takes 30 seconds of my fucking day. But with the burnout, with the overwhelm, every little thing felt like too much almost, And that's the only regret I have of, I guess, this experience and this last year, But then again, it leads to conversations like this one. And I've had a lot of, I think, vulnerable moments in season 3, sort of talking about these different ranges of emotions I've been going through. So that's why As A Gringo wasn't as frequent or existent, particularly here in season 3. It was just it was a lot, Now with that said, let's just get into it. I just posed a little thing out there, and as we always do, we'll read a few. But I just told people, any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. And shout out to Brent J Life Coaching. Brenda, my bud who I met here on this from this podcast. She's a listener. We became business partners. We did a lot of amazing things with Just Be and the Just Be Social Club, and that's another crazy thing about this podcast. The relationships is built, But yeah. Speaking of, she asked, will the Just Be Social Club ever return? Are you still interested in partnerships with folks? So anybody that doesn't know, the Just Be Social Club is a mastermind group. I did 2 groups. They both were a year long. And we met every single week via Zoom. And that was an amazing experience because the majority of the people in those groups started out as listeners of the podcast, and then we did this whole thing together, and we would just meet up, and I'd have different prompts that would make us sort of think about things and have conversations, and it was amazing to see in real time people's growth just from meeting up and being surrounded by others who are trying to do better, for themselves. And I'm proud of that, And I would love to bring it back in some capacity. I don't have the bandwidth right now to do it how I was, the weekly meetups, and we would have these little one-offs and all these and amazing things. And it was all virtual. What I would love to kind of do, conceptually, and I'll let you guys know kind of wide open about this. The idea I have in my head as a sort of, I want to do these kind of things in person, right? And Just Be has been this amazing experience, but I think I'm transitioning out of that as well. And it lives forever, right? The memories and everything like that. But I'm trying to really integrate everything I do and for it to be in alignment, right? And music is such a huge part of my life and so much of what is bringing me joy right now. I feel like everything kind of has to be in alignment with somehow being aligned with music as well. So my concept, what I would love to do, I want to do real in-person events And I started my radio show, Noche Buena Radio, which is like just me DJing records I like on my SoundCloud. And I would love to do real in-person events with that where we have like dancing and fun, but it's like a social club, right? The concept, really, I don't explain this terribly. I'm the worst at explaining shit. But conceptually, it's basically like more than just fucking, I'm tired of like just, I love it, but I'm tired of just also being at a club and that's all you're doing, right? I like the idea of like back in the day, our grandparents' days, they had these social clubs they would go to. My grandparents used to go to like a social club every Friday night or whatever it was. They would play dominoes, they would dance, they would eat. It was like their thing to do. And I feel like back in like the 50s, 60s, when you would go see music groups, right? And it wasn't like DJs at the time, it was like live bands. It was a whole thing, right? It was dinner, it was entertainment, it was dancing, it was an entire experience. And I would love to sort of transition into that, like where we do like family style dinner and you get to socialize with other people of the community and build those relationships. And then from there we get into like the party aspect of it, right? To me, that's me bringing the whole worlds together, right? It's kind of like what the mastermind group was, which, yeah, it was, we had intentions. We had a blueprint as to what we were teaching. But really, it was like you bouncing ideas off of people, you building relationships with people, you connecting with people who are trying to do similar things to you as far as growth goes. And that was it. Like, I feel like the social component was really, the bigger takeaway from it all. And that's what I would love to do in person, a hybrid of it all. I think maybe one day as I get a little bit older, I could probably, I could see myself transitioning back into something a little bit more in the personal growth thing. I don't close the door on anything, but I think moving forward, I would love to do it more as an in-person type of thing, right? Even like, like Bad Bunny's doing his residency in Puerto Rico and like people traveling over there. For me, I would love to do something like that. And then it's like, oh, we have our nights of like dancing and having fun. I could do the music thing, but like it's also based upon deeper connection. Or like Diplo has a run club and then he DJs after. I love these hybrid ideas where I could also involve my love for music. So I think conceptually that's on my mind of, I guess, the next evolution of it and how to really make all of the sides of me in alignment and also how to contribute in a positive way using my love for music as a vehicle. Let's see. At the NA Billionaire asked, what's next for you? It's funny that I'm giggling to myself because I was like, oh, I hate when people ask me what's next. I've gotten over that now because I am on a clear path as to what is next, right? It doesn't feel like a fucking burden. I'm frustrated because I want to be able to tell you guys, also I had said this and I'm repeating myself, I think, again. I don't like talking about things until the ink is dry. So like if my contract was 100% done and we had like all the info, I would, as far as like, roll out and shit, I would 100% just share it openly. What I will say is if you enjoy, a podcast, if you enjoy the conversations and interviews I do, this won't be the end. And really what's going to happen, barring any sort of, unexpected hiccup, Life as a Gringo will evolve into something new. And I'm being like, I know I'm being very like ominous about what the fuck I'm talking about, but like, or vague. But I could say it's not the end. It's the end of Life as a Gringo, but it's not the end if you enjoy what I do and the types of conversations that I have. It's going to evolve into another concept, and I believe this concept has the ability to be something that the conversations and the content and the value are endless, and that's what I'm really excited about. I could say that Life as a Gringo, I think, has a ceiling, and I think, again, that's why I feel comfortable like being like, all right, this is kind of the end, I don't want it to become redundant. I don't want it to become like we're just here because we're supposed to be here. I feel like, this next concept is the evolution because it's boundless, and that's what I'm looking for. It allows me to scratch those. itches of creativity and dabble into different things, so there's that. There is something. There is a new evolution of Life Is a Gringo. I can tell you that. So if you fuck with this, this is goodbye for specifically Life Is a Gringo, but if you enjoy what I do and get something out of it, this won't be the end. Now the goal is for that new chapter to start towards the end of the summer. Now, again, it's a moving target because there's certain things being worked out behind the scenes, but I could say that. I could say that this new chapter allows me to explore what's next as far as culture, that. I'm really excited to just have more innovative conversations and meet more innovative people and things like that. I'm trying to give you info because I want to give you info, but also because I have to be so vague, it just doesn't make sense. I feel like what I'll say is, again, there's a new evolution of Life Is a Gringo. This is not completely the end, and we're starting from scratch. Life Is a Gringo is evolving, and I can say that. All right, this one is just a silly one. At what is it, Dami Kempster 921. If you guys, I listen, I appreciate this because if you like my fashion, I appreciate you. He just asked me what my favorite jacket is that I would rock all the time. And this is a shameless plug for Just Be. I love that jacket. I wore it the other day. A few of you sent me pictures in it. It's the windbreaker I have. We dropped it for it was a part of the Protect Your Peace line. And I rock that a lot, especially during the summer or when I'm in Puerto Rico where it rains. I'm just sometimes you just got to create things for yourself, right? And hope other people fuck with it, but I don't know, there's no better feeling than creating something and then it's just tangibly in your hands, or you're tangibly doing it, That's the greatest satisfaction. And so many of us get caught up in the creation phase of planning or wondering if people are even going to like it, and then we don't even end up bringing it to life. We don't even get to hold our creation, So I'm proud of whenever I'm able to bring something out of my mind into life, and that was one of them. Especially that I did all the designing myself on, and so I'm teaching myself Photoshop on a higher level than I ever have, and I'm proud of pushing myself for that. I'm proud of these hats. I'm wearing a hat, my Puerto Rico or Nowhere hat. We're doing pre-orders on Dramos.com. You can see it on my Instagram at Dramos if you're into it. But all right, so and another real answer, I have this denim jacket, Levi's vintage denim jacket from Lauryn Hill. And it's from her tour, her Miseducation tour of Lauryn Hill. And I love it because obviously it does get a lot of attention. People love that jacket. It's just so cool. It's a cool just denim jacket, very simple, but has her tour thing. I got off of eBay for probably $60 at the time, which sounded like a lot of money. Before the vintage shit went crazy. And I just think that album, by the way, I brought it up because I think there's as I try to make a message of everything we do. Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. That album is a person, in this case a woman, a young woman in her early 20s, who is experiencing heartbreak and was unafraid to bear her entire soul into her art. And that's why it's a generational album. Right? That's why I even understand she walked away from music because how the fuck do you top that? And that's a lesson of just unapologetic honesty and vulnerability, right? So many people connected to that album because they felt that raw emotion, and it was a reflection, a mirror of what they were going through. And you think about someone's care for me, care for me. You said you care for me, care for me, care for me. You said you cry for me, cry for me. You said you die for me and live for me, live. Like I'm butchering it, but like I don't even like Life As A Gringo. I'm like, yo, I'm proud of this shit because like this was on this. I was more honest with y'all than I am with most people in my everyday life, right? Or with people I've dated. Like this is real vulnerability, right? And I think you can be proud and walk away and know I gave it my all. My heart is out there, right? I guess that's why I just brought this up, but yeah, I don't know. I think you just got to put yourself out there, man. And whatever you're doing, put out the most honest and vulnerable part of yourself because that's what is going to connect you with people. That's what's going to have the greatest impact. Again, your favorite art, like that album, it's just the most real, like, you could hear this woman going through pain of heartbreak, probably her first real heartbreak. And it's there and documented, and it's so special because it's a moment in time, right? And so many people, myself included, have been able to listen to it and resonate with it and find peace in it, Yeah, I don't know. I just think art is special. I think creativity is special. I think what we feel in our hearts and our real emotions are important, and we never know the type of impact we can have, or we underestimate, I should say, the type of impact we can have just by like being our honest self and being vulnerable to others. And sometimes that's all somebody else needs in order to like heal or to feel seen, right? Which then leads to healing, I feel like. So yeah, that's that. As A Gringo. One last time. Thank y'all so much for participating in that. With that said, let's tie everything we talked about today for one last time in a segment we call Conclusions Stew.
Time for conclusions stew.
One last time, man. It's crazy. Conclusions Stew. I don't think I need to summarize all that I talked about. I feel like I've been talking in the same manner for the last couple episodes. I really do. I genuinely want to say thank you to anybody that's listened to this podcast, to those of you who have expressed anything in some sort of way and taken the time to DM me or listen or hit this, like, rate, whatever it is. Like, we're in this together in so many ways. It's not lost on me that those of you who show up and tune in and participate and enjoy this podcast, like, you're a very big reason as to why I got to live my dream for almost 4 years. And I forever thank you. I really do mean that. I know a lot of people say, but like, I really do mean that. This is my first ever successful endeavor. Like my first ever, like, with me in the lead, successful endeavor. Like, on a real scale. I don't mean perceived success. I mean real success in terms of, like, this has fed me for the last almost 4 years. And obviously I busted my ass and I've show up every week and do my job as to the best of my ability. But you guys are a part of that as well. You showing up and listening, like, is the reason why I can walk away and say this was a success. So I genuinely just want to thank you, like, from the bottom of my heart. I'm so grateful that anybody has taken the time to listen to me on a regular basis. Listen to me one time. Like, I just checked it out. Like, it's a blessing, and it's something I'm going to continue to remind myself of as I tackle the next endeavors of my life. And when those moments of imposter syndrome inevitably creep in, I'm going to think about all of you who have supported this podcast and remind myself that I am capable of successfully bringing my ideas to life, and I can live out my dreams. and that I have a place in this community, in this world, and in this career path, and everything, So just thank you. I genuinely, I really do mean that so much, man. Again, I know it's cliche. I know I feel like everybody, whoever has any sort of platform or anything, will say that, but like, it's not lost on me, Like, I don't. If you like had met me at a younger age or whatever, and somebody was guessing where my life would go, I don't think they would have thought this, right? I could have never planned this. It's amazing, and I'm really super grateful. And shout out to the whole Cultura team for believing in my vision at a really early stage, and for going on this ride with me for almost 4 years, and trusting me, and just allowing me to develop and do my thing, and I'm so grateful for them, and and I'm proud of myself. I think that's the thing I would put the punctuation mark here, right? I walk away from this very proud of myself, and just honored to have been able to do this for as long as I have. It has been a blessing. Thank God for it all. And like, I'm anxious to even like say the goodbye statement right now, but yeah, remember, again, this isn't the end. Life As A Gringo is going to evolve into something else, and I'll be back sooner than later, and hopefully you'll join me on that next journey. And also we have those like bonus episodes dropping, little mini episodes. They'll be dropping over the next few weeks. It might not be next week, but you'll see it pop up on the feed. So a couple little extra things that are like bonus episodes or whatever. But yeah, I guess this is it, huh? One last time signing off. As far as Life As A Gringo goes, right? But thank you guys so much. Again, this kid that once felt like an outsider in his community now feels so comfortable, and so feels so seen, and so much of that is because of you. I'm just proud of what we did together over the course of almost 4 years. So thank you. I love you all. I genuinely do. I love what I've been able to do. I'm grateful for it forever. It's been a blessing, and I just want to say thank you. All right, one last time. I will talk to you soon. I don't know when it's going to be, but I will talk to you soon. Until then, you want to follow me on social media at DJ Dramos. Stay in contact. But yeah, until we reconnect via the next chapter, stay safe, and we will talk soon. Peace.